Hello and welcome. This video provides a high-level overview of the Sentient project and the higher education leadership learning online community on which it is hosted. I will go over what you can expect to learn from this video shortly, but first allow me to introduce myself. I am Dr. Graham Glynn, the creator of the project and the Hello Community website. I am a professor of neuroscience at Radford University. However, after 30 years in administration, including appointments as provost at 2 institutions, I now study how to improve the quality and effectiveness of higher education. If you want to know more about me and how the project and site developed, please check out the background and history video. Upon completion of this video, you should be able to explain the institutional pain points Sentient was designed to address, the goals of the initiative, and the benefits an adopting institution can expect to achieve. Explain why modeling a complex organization can lead to a greater understanding for all stakeholders and more effective management techniques. Explain what the Sentient Concept Map is. Explain the relationships between the Sentient Initiative, the Sentient Concept Map, and the Hello Community website. Explain Sentient's overall vision. There are 3 major goals which Sentient is designed to address. Higher education institutions are very complex and notoriously challenging to manage. They are both hierarchical and collaborative in nature, requiring a great deal of shared governance. Most have hundreds of employees and many thousands of students divided across divisions, colleges, centers, and departments. It is very difficult for any one person to know all aspects of the institution, and particularly challenging to coordinate all of its activities well. Higher education institutions are also very slow and resistant to change. Faculty have roles that are more like independent consultants who work in a shared space than traditional employees. Referring to an institution as a business is frowned upon, and adoption of business practices such as strategic planning, data collection, and analytics, efficiency and effective initiatives such as Six Sigma tend to be resisted. There are around 4,000 colleges and universities in the United States alone. Most of them deal with very similar challenges and would benefit from sharing data and good practices. However, other than conference presentations, there are no good curated approaches for sharing across institutions, and thus a great deal of effort is duplicated. In addition, senior administrators find it very difficult to leave their campuses for even a few days, and therefore networking and mentoring opportunities are rare. So, addressing Goal 1, improve the management of complex institutions. As one is promoted and responsibilities increase, your knowledge of the institution also grows. Knowledge changes your perspective, and you gain a better grasp on the implications of various issues. In addition, you may be privy to information that is confidential or restricted, which may have influenced your decision, but you cannot share. Unfortunately, this growth leaves a gap between you and the people you are expected to lead, which can make it difficult for them to appreciate where you are coming from. The view from the balcony, where the movements of the various units can be choreographed, becomes more difficult to achieve as one moves up the promotional ladder. In addition, as one becomes more distant from frontline operations, it is easy to lose a nuanced understanding of day-to-day operations. Leaders need both a big picture view and the ability to quickly identify problem areas and the ability to drill down into the details when necessary. Without data, decisions are more likely to be based on intuition, opinion, rumors, anecdotal evidence, and political influence. To make good decisions, administrators need on-demand, intuitively accessible data for decision support. The more familiar they are and the more often they use the interface to institutional knowledge, the more effective the data will be. Ideally, all stakeholders involved in making or impacted by a decision should have a common understanding of the institution and access to the same information. But this is rarely the case. So discussions are often more contentious than they need to be. So how does Sentient address these challenges? Well, Sentient is a concept map-based institutional model used as a tool for holistic, transparent, knowledge-informed decision support, integrative and backward design-based thinking, intra- and interinstitutional resource sharing, and strategic management, resulting in improved effectiveness, efficiency, stakeholder engagement, and shared governance. I know this is quite a mouthful, but do not worry. I will address each of these characteristics individually in the remainder of this video. Simulations, such as those used to train pilots, respond to inputs in ways that mimic and predict the real world. Mathematical relationships must be determined between inputs and outputs. If it is accurate, it indicates very thorough understanding of the system. However, it would be extremely difficult to create a simulator of a complex business. The next best thing to simulators are models. An institutional model is an accurate representation of a business in some medium other than the real world. Architects, for example, might 3D print a model of a building to see how air flows around it, or to get approval from clients on its structure and appearance. Models are often used to test decisions before they are applied in the real world. They differ from simulations in that they are not expected to automatically convert inputs to outputs, such as a flight simulator would. The best model is one that can be held inside the mind where it is stored as knowledge. That is, interconnected information. It can be accessed instantly, and advanced cognitive skills such as pattern extraction can be applied. However, knowing enough about an organization and how it works to be able to create a complete internal model is very challenging, so tools are often needed. One of the best tools to extend cognitive capacity is concept mapping, because it emulates the way humans think using associations. This also means that concept maps can store knowledge and not just information. A model that uses a concept map as its medium is therefore as close as one can get to creating a complete internal model. Sentient is based on this approach, and using its unique and innovative capabilities to improve how complex businesses can be managed, in this case within higher education, is one of its major goals. Holistic means to consider all of the parts and how they work together. Consciousness, for example, emerges from the human brain because of the complexity of the connections between and within its parts. You may be familiar with holistic medicine, which considers physiology, psychology, and even spirituality in the treatment of a disorder or disease. Complex business organizations have many similarities to the sentient human, such as a personality or culture, and can be just as difficult to understand and control. A complete holistic model of a business, such as that provided within Sentient, therefore enables users to fully understand the institution and goes a long way towards enabling predictions of its behavior. This screenshot of the Sentient Universal Model of a higher education institution is divided into 13 components. The core character, classification, culture, and climate, academic programs, curriculum maps, and learning expectations, organizations, committees, groups, and their hierarchical structure, people, their roles and reporting structure, facilities, buildings, campuses, and so on, operational capabilities, the organizational knowledge that's needed, and the skills that are also have to be applied within different parts of the organization, the processes and how they are controlled and flow, services that are provided, who they are targeted towards, what organization is responsible for them, and so on. Financial management, the chart of accounts, how money flows through the organization from funding to expenditure. Crucial institutional documents such as the charter for the institution, the mission statement, and so on. Adoptions such as accrediting bodies or even metrics that are key performance indicators. Evolution and change management, what parts of the organization are changing, are expected to change, and what plans such as strategic plans are used to guide all of this. And then performance monitoring, what parts of the organization are performing well or weakly and may need special attention. Beneath these primary categories, there are over 20,000 interconnected thoughts, addressing nearly every aspect of the institution. These thoughts can be characterized by over 500 predefined types and over 1,000 tags which can be applied to them. The types and tags are organized into useful hierarchies that provide powerful classification systems to the model. These are addressed in detail in the concept mapping video. This model is not meant to be adopted en masse. Rather, it acts as a prototype and template for institutions to develop their own customized institutional model. The model can be accessed from any web browser or for editing purposes through the Brain client application. This enables all stakeholders to develop a common understanding of the institution. This screenshot, which I know looks overwhelming, and I will therefore spend some time explaining, is from a part of the Sentient Institutional Model showing all of the theoretical connections of a metric. An actual institutional metric would, however, only have a small subset of these. At the center of the diagram is a thought that contains a description. To completely characterize something, it is useful to address its who, what, why, when, how, and where characteristics. In Sentient, the title of the thought is generally used to address who, what, or how. Each thought also receives a type classification, visible when moused over, which contributes to the what information. Thoughts can also have tags which appear as subscripts beneath and to the right of them. In Sentient, the when and where characteristics are usually addressed in these tags. Finally, the why characteristic is usually addressed in the content area associated with each thought, which is not shown in the screenshot. Thoughts are joined to others with connectors that explain why the connection exists. There are connection points located here, here, and here. Their direction is indicated by arrows. And they also have types, which involve the color and description. The types are addressed in the video on concept mapping. As you can see, a thought can have extensive connections, including to people, roles, groups, places, metadata, data, flags, and each object it applies to. This level of connection provides the integrated view that is so important to understanding and managing a complex institution. It also enables drill down from the macro view to minute details when that is needed. In addition, it is important to show all the relevant data to a user and not just those that they were looking for. They may not know that other data exists or may not have thought it was relevant until presented with the connection. Providing intuitive access to as much data as possible within confidentiality constraints and making it a common practice to share the information during conversations and meetings is a powerful way to create a culture of trust and transparency and to move decisions forward in an effective and justifiable way. Creating an intuitive and powerful information sharing system that supports this approach and that is accessible to all stakeholders is a major goal of the Sentient system. The completed concept map is also the explicit embodiment of the implicit knowledge held by many of the key leaders and managers of the institution. In addition to educating all stakeholders, it is a great way to pass institutional knowledge onto one's successor. Another useful integrative tool set provided within Sentient are the performance monitoring tags. These tags, shown in their hierarchical organization in this screenshot, can be applied to any thought within the model, usually by the person responsible for that operational area. Clicking on the tag beneath a thought or selecting it from the tag menu lists all the thoughts where the tag has been applied, as shown in this screenshot of where the red traffic light has been applied. This makes it very easy to identify items within the model that need attention. Administrators are constantly asked to make decisions, and most would like to do so based on readily available data that is pertinent to the issue at hand. Unfortunately, it is common to find that helpful data does not exist, or that it is overlooked because it is not easy to find or access. The sentient model is not meant to replace existing data systems. Rather, it is meant to store data not traditionally stored in those systems, such as organizational structure, and to provide intuitive access to data stored in other systems. It does this by connecting it to recognized structures, such as the org chart. In this way, it provides access to data in context, which is much more meaningful. The Brain app has a built-in web browser which can display hyperlinks associated with a thought, as shown in this screenshot. User access to these systems is controlled by their web interface when opened by these links, and access login prompts appear as necessary. Sentient therefore acts as an in-context portal to other systems. In the screenshot, a course has been selected from the concept map, shown here, which automatically displays its scheduled information in the content panel shown on the right. This information is from a separate course catalog system, not from Sentient. Each thought can have multiple URLs assigned to it so that instructors, enrollment, access, assessment data, and so on from multiple back-end systems can similarly be displayed. We now move on to Goal 2, speed up the rate of the evolution of institutions. One of the most important things people want to know about is change that is being considered or occurring at the institution. Sentient comes with a set of tags, shown in their categories in this screenshot, that can be used to flag areas of change by applying them to any thought within the model, essentially aggregating all change within a single list. The tags within the group change management category are shown as an example in this screenshot. Tags are not always the best way to indicate change. For example, splitting a working group is best indicated by connectors to the proposed new groups. A set of connectors is therefore provided for this purpose. Using this approach to change management enables knowledge-informed decision-making that is based on transparency. By making pending decisions transparent, the campus community is invited to participate in the process and therefore strengthens shared governance. Another approach that can speed up institutional evolution is backward and design-based thinking. Traditionally, a role is assigned responsibilities, and then metrics are selected to monitor the person's performance. In a backward approach, metrics are selected first, then assembled into responsibilities, which are assembled into duties, and then into the responsibilities of a job description. This approach can be applied to many processes. In strategic planning, for example, metrics can generate tactics, which generate objectives, which generate goals, which generate initiatives. The forward and backward approaches complement each other and can be used simultaneously. The backward approach is strengthened by having a library of metrics available to consider. This library is provided in Sentient. Goal 3, reduce duplication of efforts across institutions. As a provost, I would commonly spend time working on projects that I was reasonably sure had been completed elsewhere. If I knew about them and had personal connections at the institution, I could usually tap into their resources. But if not, I was forced to duplicate the work. I often thought that a curated library of resources shared between institutions, whether within a system or across the world, would be a phenomenal time and cost saver. Sentient and the Higher Education Leadership Learning online community website, where it is hosted, are designed to meet this need. In this screenshot, you can see how these resources have been categorized within Sentient. Some of these thoughts connect to community-developed lists hosted on the Hello Community site. It should be noted that the file share utility hosts sentient models developed by other institutions, which is a very powerful way to share very rich knowledge between institutions. The Hello Community site is shown in this screenshot. The top horizontal menu shows how the resource and knowledge sharing initiatives are categorized. Two vision statements guide the development of Sentient and the Hello community. The first focuses on the internal impact of Sentient. An institution interested in implementing integrative thinking and creating a culture of transparent, knowledge-informed decision-making will adopt the Sentient Concept Map as its primary universally accessible interface to institutional information. Adapt the SCM so that it models the institution's unique academic offerings, organizational structure and roles, facilities and resources, systems and processes. Select and apply an appropriate subset of the metrics available in its libraries, connecting them to live data sources where possible. And consult the SCM whenever change is being considered so that conversations and decisions are informed by data. The second part has an external focus. The worldwide higher education community will use the Sentient and Hello community to openly share their Sentient Concept Maps, good implementable practices, plans, reports, metrics, rubrics, and data that contribute to a sector-wide knowledge base that is used to catalyze and support evolution within its member institutions. To summarize, an institution adopting Sentient can expect all stakeholders will have a better understanding of the institution, its mission, goals, and performance, including how to find information, resources, or assistance from the right person or office. Discussions with and between stakeholders will shift from opinion-based to more fact-based, which will improve the partnership with shared governance. Pervasive data availability and change management information will stifle the rumor mill. Senior leaders will have the knowledge at their fingertips needed to make justifiable decisions and resource investments. Self-study teams, tactical and strategic planners will have a greater impact on institutional evolution. Managers of organizational units will gain tools to increase effectiveness and efficiency. Faculty and staff developing and delivering curriculum and advising students will feel empowered. Students will make better and earlier decisions about their majors and about navigating their course requirements efficiently. The institution will function more cohesively and its rate of evolution will increase. Institutional culture will, over time, become more trusting of leadership and of management decisions. I hope you are as excited by Sentient as I am, and that you will share your enthusiasm with your colleagues. If you wish to know more about the initiative, please watch more of our videos at the listed website, visit the Sentient web pages on the Hello Community site, use the Contact Us form on that site to send us a message, register on the Hello Community site and become a member, and then join the Sentient user group. Consult the soon-to-be-published book about Sentient. Follow our blog for notification of publication. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you can follow these links below. Otherwise, please pause the video if you wish to copy this information. Thank you for watching and have a great day.